We made $20,278.19 in the month of February. We sent $9,767.05 to debt in the month of February. Let's talk about how it went. What's up? My name is Rochelle, and I'm back with one of the toughest videos for me to come and make for you guys, but I have to do it because accountability crew. We are a family of 3 attempting to pay off over $200,000 worth of consumer debt, and I am here to share that journey with you. The good, the bad, the ugly. We dive into it all. If that's something you want to see, definitely stick around. Click that like, share, and subscribe button. Appreciate you. Okay, so first I want to just do an overall debt update. So let's jump right into the income. Like I mentioned, $20,278.19. We were able to send $6,689.78 to debt. Now that is just the minimum debts required, the minimum payments required to keep our balance in good standing. Then we sent $3,623.22 to bills. We try to keep our bills on the lower end, 25% of our income or less. So right now it's sat at 18% for the month of February. Then we sent an additional $3,077.27 to debt by means of a debt snowball. We were able to make some progress with our credit cards. And if you're calculating, that means we sent, like I mentioned, almost $10,000 to debt this month. If you are looking for a way to track your debt more closely and find out how much you're actually sending to debt that is actually decreasing your overall number, this might be the video for you. In the beginning of this video, I will just stick to the numbers, share our progress update. But then the second part of this video, I really want to share with you what I do in the background before I come on camera to really look at those numbers, because it's not as easy as it looks to bring all of this information together in just a short video. Next is our spending category. We spent $2,162.25 on random spending. That is all spending for food, household expenses, miscellaneous spending, clothes, shoes, fixing things in the house, fixing things in the car. If you watched my latest video, you know that we were in a car accident recently. Everyone is okay. The car is even okay. But it was a hit and run. So there is an additional expense with that. My daughter is cooking in the background, y'all, but we getting this content in. Which meant that 11% of our income went to spending this month. It was a little higher also because at the beginning of the year, I tend to have higher annual expenses. So if you want to see what those numbers look like, just check out any of my weekly budget content. So next is the taxes category. We were able to set aside $1,179.18 toward our taxes sinking fund. My husband is a W-2 employee and I am self-employed. I do sister locks and micro locks. I am a loctician. And so I have to make sure I set aside money for that. Then I have a team that helps me with all of the businesses that I have. I sent a total of $1,048 to that team this month. Thank you for all your hard work. And that is much higher than usual, but that was because we had an overdue invoice from a client and they paid that. So it was a little higher than normal. We sent $831.54 to savings this month. And if you watched my last video, you know I mentioned that I really do want to focus on saving more. Yes, we have a savings, but I am pretty much starting from scratch in terms of the amount that I'm tracking and sharing with you guys. So you will see my savings progress from the month of January onward. And I want to see how much money we can save in the year 2025. Our rental property expenses totaled $456.95. We used $430 in cash envelopes. We gifted $300. We sent $244 to our buffer bill account just so that it doesn't stay at a zero balance. We sent $200 to other sinking funds. In fact, that $200 is the rental property sinking fund. So that's normal. And $25 to investing and $11 in sister locks bills. So if you add all that up, you get $20,278.19. 33% of our income this month went to paying just the minimum on our debt payments, and then an additional 15% went to our debt snowball. So let's dive into the realness. I want to show you guys what I do when I prepare for these videos. I usually do them quarterly, but I am going to make every attempt to do these monthly because of our situation, because our numbers are so high. And if you're someone who's feeling like you can't do this, you can't see the needle move, you feel like you can't breathe, then definitely tap in and hear what I have to say for the next few minutes and see if it makes a difference with your budget. Also, if you are someone who has done this already, then feel free to share in the comments what worked for you. Yes, we are doing all the things, cutting expenses, increasing our income and our income sources, all the things like that. But I like to share a little more specific things than that, because I feel like there's knowing what to do and then there's actually doing it. Okay, so step one is you need to be budgeting. The budget, even if you do a monthly budget, that doesn't mean that you write the budget, do the budget, and then walk away and never look back. You need to be returning to that budget at least weekly. Some people do it daily. I know for myself, I actually look at it every couple days at the very least. But at least you need to come back to that budget at the end of the month and see how everything went. A budget is not something that you can look at once. A budget is, here's what I'm going to do, and then in the last part of the month, here is what I did. And hold yourself accountable to those numbers. If they're ugly, own it and do better the next month. That's the first thing. You cannot pay down debt without budgeting. I haven't seen it done that way. That's what works for me. So once you budget, then it's time to really dive into your credit cards and really take a look at what you are spending on those credit cards. If you aren't using those credit cards, you need to be looking at what those balances, those actual balances are. So say, for instance, I'll use our venture card as the example. I will try to do a screen grab. The first thing you need to do is log into your Capital One app. You will then see your venture balance on the screen. For us, it's $15,822.94. And if you are new to my channel, I encourage you to watch any of the videos here, Eye in the Sky, to see what our debt sources come from. This is not regular spending, buying nice things. We had some medical events. We had some things happen with our rental property. There were a series of events where we acquired a huge amount of debt in a short amount of time. So we've been debt free before. So we've done this before. So we are going to do it again. Positive comments only. If you do have some constructive criticism, please do it respectfully. But we're building community over here because there's money people that are just like me. So I'm not special. But the motive is to pay it down and pay it down quickly. Okay, so you've logged into your Capital One app. I told you what our venture balance was, but now we need to go back and see what it was at the beginning of the month. So actually, when I logged into my venture app, I gave you the wrong balance. It said $15,665.52. So I want to know, did I move the needle? Did the payment that I made in the month of February actually decrease my overall balance? To do that, you need to tap into your transactions and then hit statements. And the statement that you're looking for is the February statement. When you open that statement, that balance, that available or opening balance for the month of February is your number that you want to look at. For us, it was $15,822.94. So what I do is I take that number, plug it into a calculator. The iPhone calculator is so amazing. Honestly, I'm going to show you. This is my calculator app. I'm not sure if it'll come across on camera, but there's 3 lines up here in the top left corner. And if you tap that, you'll see the history. And this is all the numbers that I've done recently. This is how often I plug these numbers in, okay? So I plug in that beginning balance from our statement, and then the available balance, or not the available balance, but the balance as of today. And I minus that. And when I did that, I got $157.42. Now, normally I pay that venture credit card every month, and I make a payment of $494 every month. So I would deduct that. When I deduct the interest that Capital One gets to keep for allowing me to carry a balance every month, I get an actual pay down amount of $157.42. That is what you need to do for every single credit card to actually see if you're in the green, meaning are you seeing the needle go down? Even if it's slowly, it still needs to be going down every month, month over month. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to go line by line and share with you my credit cards. First off is the HELOC. We were able to shave $56.30 off of the HELOC. If you are coming from some of my earlier HELOC content, you know that the original plan was to use the HELOC to pay down debt more quickly. But right now, my HELOC sits at a 75% usage, and I don't want to max it out to 100%. So what I'm doing is just paying the minimum right now, while also lowering these very high credit card monthly balances that I have. So for instance, if you look at my Chase Sapphire credit card, that payment is almost $800 every month. That's my last large monthly credit card balance. All the other balances have a minimum of less than $500 a month. That's just for me. That's just a mental game that I play, because once you lower your monthly balances, it's easier to knock credit cards out every month. I've knocked out all the smaller credit cards, and you'll see that as I go line by line. And so now we're getting to like these huge credit cards. And so that is what I do to lower the balance so that I can see the needle move on one credit card. Okay, so the HELOC balance is down to $95,050.84. Next up is the car payment. The car balance is down to $24,973.37. Y'all, I'm sorry about the ambulance, but I have to keep going. I don't know what's going on, but I feel so sorry for healthcare staff right now, like firemen, ambulance, doctors, nurses, support staff. Like, it's just really busy right now. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. I hope everyone's okay. Okay, so the car, we were able to shave $838.63 off of the car balance this month. Well, in the month of February. If you see a green mark next to that debt, then that tells you that we were able to bring the balance down. Next is our rental property credit card. We paid that down to a zero balance in the month of December, and we've been able to keep it at a zero balance again for the second month in a row. So whoop whoop, because having a rental property is for the birds. I am so seriously considering selling it. I never thought I would say something like that, but we holding on. We'll see. Next is the venture card that we talked about. So we're in the green there. Next is the Discover credit card. Now I have a star next to the HELOC and the Discover because even though I'm not using the HELOC right now because the balance is so high, once I do have enough space on that HELOC, because you're going to see I'm going to start to switch over and start to make payments on the HELOC heavily again. That is to get that balance down. And then I will be loading the balance, the Discover balance, onto the HELOC because that is our oldest card carrying debt. Whatever. It's the balance that we've had for a long time, and I'm ready to knock that balance out and pay it down more quickly. So that's why I have a star next to those two, because I'm making a mental plan. Okay, that's the balance that we're going to attack next. I know some people pay down the lower balances first. What I do is I look at the minimum monthly payments, and I also look at how much interest I'm paying on each credit card every month. It's okay, baby. You can come in. I'm not pausing. It's going to be the realness. So that's what you want to do. You want to look at your credit card statements. You want to look at your balances. You want to see what your interest is doing, because it doesn't stay the same. Even though you might have an introductory offer, APR rate, or whatever, it doesn't always stay that way. It's just that introductory. So it will probably go up. Maybe once in a while you might see it go down, but not by very much. For the most part, it's going to stay the same or go up. And so your balance, you need to adjust for that. Okay, next is Micah's Apple Card. This is a classic example of what I mean when the balance does not go down, it goes up. And if you aren't paying attention, you'll miss it. So I missed it. And this is a classic example of why having too many credit cards is not a good idea. And I will be closing a lot of these cards as we pay them down. We just have to do it. I've done it before. In fact, I've gotten rid of a few credit cards already. But the thing with Apple that I do not like is I can't go into Micah's account when he's not around and track his Apple card. So what happened is his APR went up, his balance went up. He still has that card attached to our family account. So we have, our parents on our family account. And so if they have any spending, it will hit that credit card. And our family is awesome. They will send us the money. They'll say, hey, here, I spent some money, buying Adobe for my iPad or something like that, and or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, but I have to remember to pay that on the card. So that's something I have to deal with the Apple world. I feel like Apple has these, they make it very hard. They have a very nice screen. Like when you actually open up the Apple Card app, it shows, hey, here's your balance. This is how much interest you could avoid if you make your balance and pay in full. That I love. But when you're talking about like jointly trying to pay down debt, it's not easy. So, that's a me thing. That's a me problem that I'm sharing. And I want to know if anybody else has experienced that. So I will adjust for that in the month of March and going into April to try and look at Micah's card more often. It's not a card that we use ever, but like I said, it's attached to our family account. And I haven't seen a way to switch the card to a non-Apple card. I don't know if that makes any sense. I have to see if that's an option. Let me know in the comments. I do not pretend to know it all, y'all. I'm just sharing what I learned along the way. Just in case it works for somebody else. But I also want to share with you why you may not be seeing your balance go down. And it just could be you just weren't looking at it. And that's what it was for me. Now, my Apple card was the same story. That you can see I have 2 X's next to those Apple cards. And that's because we were not tracking it closely. So on my card, I also had an annual expense come out that I had forgotten about. And so I think it was it was an insurance. It was like insurance for something. And I forgot to change that card to our debit account because we do right now pay all of our bills out of a debit account. We have one account for bills and one account for spending, everyday spending, because we aren't using credit cards. So at this point, we're seeing things hit that are annuals or things that we've forgotten about. And so just fix it. As soon as you see it, fix it. I got on the phone with the company. I canceled it. And it's done. So I won't see that in the future. So I only saw my Apple card shave $83 off of the balance because I had that unexpected expense. Well, not an unexpected, something I had totally forgotten about. So again, why Apple cards aren't my favorite. Credit cards just in general, I'm over it, y'all. We out here now. Okay, so the Apple card is down to $52.13.43. So I gave us a green mark, but we didn't really deserve it for those Apple cards. That was awful. Next up is the highest credit card that we have in terms of monthly payment, and that is the Chase Sapphire card. I'm sorry, that's not the highest one. Prime is the highest one. Chase Sapphire, we were able to shave $200.59 from off of it, bringing our balance down to $16,309.33. Chase, this is the realm we're in right now. I'll go ahead and let you know right now, we paid off another credit card. That was our last small credit card. So now we're getting to these real deal credit cards. And so that's where I'm going to be residing for the next few months, paying down these balances. So Prime is the one that I will be using the debt snowball for next. It has a balance of $26,997.40 on it. If you recall, I went through a whole mess with my taxes and them being improperly done. You can find those videos on my channel if you want to see more, but I really honestly think I was the victim of tax fraud, a tax scam, an attempt. And so that was a whole debacle. And so this tax balance is on there. So the Prime credit card also was a problem, and we had our third red X because somehow the minimum payment of $777 per month, which I actually ended up paying a little more than $900 to this card because I saw another transaction. My husband was at work and he used the card to buy lunch. And I was like, I using that card, dude. Like, we got a plan. And he was like, my bad. I picked up the card. So what did I do? I took the card out the wallet. So it just happens. Like you're reaching in your car, in your wallet, you're tired, you're hungry at work, and he gave the wrong card. So, but for some reason, I still went over, y'all, and the balance increased to $27,198.26. I have the screenshot of the transactions, so I'm just gonna see. The only thing that I noticed is I compared the interest that they charge month by month, and it is definitely higher than previous months. So my APR might have went up. On top of the transaction that Mike made at lunch at work. But this is what it is, y'all. This is what it is. And so know better, do better. Next up is my credit card for my business, RochelleAdamson.com. We were able to pay this card off in the month of February. In the very beginning of February, I made the last payment. So I'm happy about that. And then my daughter's credit card, zero. She does have a small balance technically, but she's paying that down with her business. It's like less than $200 right now. So we're just going to pay that. But technically it's zero. She had her website come out so that annual payment. Actually, I think that's every 2 years that comes out. Next is my husband's credit card. It has a balance of $21,131.60. We were able to shave the balance down by $229.57. So it now sits at $20,902.03. My credit card, I was able to shave off $251.84. It is down to $22,990.60. We have a Care Credit card that I always forget about. It has a zero balance, and I technically need to use it when I go to the dentist tomorrow for a copay or something because I feel like they're going to close it. I haven't used it in over 5 years. I'm probably just going to close it. Honestly, I don't want to close too many cards at the same time while I'm paying down debt on these other cards because past experience, I have seen this happen. When we were paying down debt the first time, the credit card companies didn't know what was going on, and they kind of got scared when they saw me closing credit cards out as I was paying them down. So I don't want them to be on alert. The climate is already really crazy right now. If it's at a zero balance, it has no annual fee or anything like that, let it go. Next is the Amex. We shaved $273.71 off of this balance. It's now down to $16,384.57. Spark is the second credit card that we were using our debt snowball to pay down more quickly. We were able to pay, well, I'll go ahead and let you know, I plan on paying it off in full in the month of March, but we were able to knock it down to $2,931.89. We paid an extra $1,398 to the Spark card in the month of February. It's hard because I'm going back in time, but then it's the real time. So technically this card is almost paid off. So I'll have a new balance. So hopefully that will be our last small card. And then we got our fourth X, y'all. My Sisterlock's credit card only went down by $1.74. That is totally my fault. The other thing that happens, y'all, this is like tip number 3. If you are paying the minimum balance down on a card on the due date is the 5th, pay the minimum balance on the 5th. Do that first. Then make your extra payments. Because what happened is I was sending extra payments to my Sisterlock's credit card and it just ate up the minimum balance due. It did not move the needle the way that I thought it would. And they were like, why is she paying extra? Like your minimum, say my minimum Sisterlock's balance is $200 per month due on the 5th. It's on auto pay. I did not wait till the 5th. On like the 1st or 2nd, I made a payment of $250. So I was like, oh, you don't have to make the minimum payment anymore. Well, no, I was trying to cover expenses. I was trying to cover expenses for my business because this is the one credit card out of all of them that I still use for my business. It is what it is. I don't feel comfortable making purchases for my business with my debit card that I have for my business. So I still have to figure that out. I'm still working through it. I know I get a lot of flack in my comments about the fact that I still use a credit card that has a balance, but this is why. This is why you don't do that, because you miss things. So my goal for the rest of March and definitely going into April is to figure out a better plan for my Sister Locks business. And yes, I do hair, and people are like, "Oh, what are your expenses?" I do products. I make sure I have shampoos and things on hand for my clients to purchase, because we're in the middle of nowhere, and I live in Hawaii, if you don't know, and it's hard to get your hands on things that you need. So I buy in bulk so that my clients don't have to struggle and look for products. So it helps them save on shipping, and it is profitable for me. So that's why I'm able to quickly cover the balance. Like, say if I order, $500 worth of shampoos, that will yield $1,000, sales. So I'll make $1,000 in sales, which means that I have made my money back, excuse me, plus made $500. And I don't even ever count that money really. I just throw it right back on the credit card. So because I don't have a zero balance. Now, if I had a zero balance, like I was debt free for this Sister Locks business, that'd be a whole nother thing. But same thing, the taxes from my Sister Locks business are on this credit card. So if you add all of the debt that we had up at the start of February, you get $273,965.59. If you minus the actual amounts, the actual money that was sent to debt, not including interest, it totaled $3,131.08 out of that huge $10,000. Isn't that crazy? So you get a new balance of $270,834.51. So I gave us a C for the month of February. We stayed true to our plan we are in the trenches, y'all. This is how it is. You are paying the piper. Interest is winning. It's beating you down right now. And to see 10K just get ate up so quickly of our hard-earned money. We have about 5 to 6 income sources every month, and we work hard to keep those sources live. And it's hard to see all your hard-earned money go down the drain. But we made these decisions, and now we have to live with them. Now it's time to clean up our mess, and that's what we're doing. And I wanted to be transparent and share it with you guys in hopes that it helps someone else. I'm not sharing this to shame myself or to brag about our income. I'm here to share the reality. The reality is you can make a ton of money, but if you're just giving it away to debt and bills, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. And so that is our debt overview. I use my undated budget planner to track all of this. I have my debt overview. And I'll share some screenshots with you guys. So out of our 15 credit cards, we have paid off 4 since the month of December 2024. And so hopefully card number 5 will be paid off in our March debt update. I really, really hope that happens. And then we will dive right into our next card. Then I have been also tracking closely our car payment because we are on track to pay it off in the next 18 to 24 months, depending on interest, depending on if we choose to add additional money to it. So less than 2 years, and in less than 2 years, we could have this balance fully paid off. So I am tracking it closely, and we'll make a decision once we get closer. So, let's talk about the savings real quick too. The savings tracker has also been updated. We now have a savings balance since January of $1,731.54. This is not including savings that we already had on hand from previous years. I just wanted to start fresh and see, because honestly, I felt like my savings has taken such a huge hit over the years because I wasn't tracking how much I was putting towards savings over time. I used to put huge chunks in, but then take huge chunks out when life would happen, and then wonder why I had no emergency fund left. So I am trying to just be more proactive instead of reactive with our savings. And I really do want to save more, especially in the climate that we're in right now, because I don't want to fall into the trap of needing to depend on a credit card. And this is why I love cash. So this does not include it. This savings tracker does not include money that I have in cash for my savings challenges. I do monthly savings challenges and yearly savings challenges in cash. And at the end of the year, monthly, I either choose to pay down debt, an additional, I can't even talk, y'all. It's been 30 minutes. I choose to pay down debt with an extra payment with the monthly savings challenge, or use it to have fun or do something nice with the family, or I will just keep rolling it over and save it and save it. Now, my yearly savings are a lot more intentional because those are higher. They yield higher savings. Like the Saveopoly alone is like, I think $1,000, $700 or $1,000. Then my envelope challenge is another $1,000. So these will be large balances that I plan on saving and having in cash. And so with those, they go towards debt, and they go towards rebuilding our savings. I don't have fun with that money. That money, we don't play about that money. In years past, that's how I was able to save money so quickly. And so I encourage you to take my video today and use it to look at your own experience, your own current situation right now, and decide, hey, am I doing good with my money right now? Or could I be doing more? Could I be doing better? If you're doing better than me, I'm so happy for you. You have a fan over here. In fact, you need to jump in my comments and you need to let the people know how good life is right now. I know money is this has this stigma surrounding it where we feel like we don't want to talk about it. But when we hold things to ourselves, I feel like we limit others around us. And I feel like that's what happened in my personal scenario. I wish I would have known what I know now a lot sooner. And it's all because I've, been out in these streets, out in these cash stuffing streets, out in the budgeting community, seeing what works for different people. And even if I choose not to go that path and do the things that they do with their money, it still helps me. It helps me to stay motivated. It shows me that there's more people like me. And I just hope that I'm adding to that cup, because I love the budget community. So, and I will be debt free again. And I think that, in January, I had a lot of harsh comments, I had to take it on the chin. It is what it is. Yes. But I'm so proud to see the progress that we have made already. I mean, if you look at our debt overview, it means that we have sent pretty much a little more than $11,000 towards debt. No, way more than that. The balances have actually come down by over $11,000 since the start of the new year. So we are in the 5-digit debt pay down window already. So in January, we were able to knock $8,571.69 off of our debt. In February, we knocked $3,131.08 off of our debt. January was a really good month, so I'm hoping for another really good month. And I think for me, when people say, how do you sit with this much debt and just feel so comfortable and still smile and still get on camera and share that, again, the shame route. I think for me, seeing the needle move brings me so much comfort. Last thought, I'll end with this. Once I see that debt get down to, right now, it's down to $270,000. When I see it get down to under $250,000, I'm going to have such a sense of accomplishment because I know what it took to get there. And I know that I did not add to my problem, but I took away from my problem. And then that needle will continue to move. I'll see it go under 225,000 and then under 200,000. Okay. And then you're talking about debt that I've had before. I had $100,000 of debt before and I paid it off. So, don't let others tell you what you can't do. Show them with your actions. Be intentional, and show yourself some love. Give yourself some grace. I'll see y'all in the next video. I can't wait to share more with you. Until then, you know what it is. Peace, love, and budgets.